You're listening to episode 122, update episode, Iva Ursano. Welcome to the Grass Gets Greener podcast, the show for survivors by survivors. I'm your host, Melissa Wilson, a bullying survivor and anti-bullying advocate. And each week you'll hear from a survivor who has overcome a traumatic experience to go on to not only survive, but thrive, so that you can too, starting now. Hello and welcome. Thanks for tuning in for this episode. This is the second of back-to-back update episodes to close out the year. Last time we were rejoined by Patrick Hodges from 2 years ago, and today we'll be rejoined by Iva Ursano from this time 2 years ago as well. It ended up working out that way, which I think is pretty cool. And 2 years is just a good amount of time, I think, to check in and see what's been going on with someone too. If you want to check out Iva's first episode, you can find that at thegrassgetsgreener.com/Iva Ursano. That's IVAURSANO. I would recommend doing that if you're not familiar with Iva's story, but I will give you a quick synopsis now of what we talked about last time, if you prefer that instead. So Iva joined me last time to share her story of how she's been able to let go of the past, to be free and live her purpose. Iva was physically abused at home while growing up as a means of punishment due to cultural norms. She became rebellious and got into trouble, including using drugs and alcohol. It was meditation, journaling, writing what she calls truth letters that have helped Iva to get to where she is today. Iva is the founder of the Amazing Me movement, and she had been volunteering in Guatemala to help the poor and homeless. So now let me share a little bit about what we'll be talking about in this episode. We'll get an update on the work Iva is doing in Guatemala. She'll also give us an update on her work with the Amazing Me movement. We'll talk about the importance of facing our fears, and we just had a great chat on the topic of fears in general. And Iva will also share her message on the topic of forgiveness. So really excited to get into this one, and I hope you are too. And I do just want to mention that there is language in this episode, so for anyone who might be sensitive to that or has little ones listening, just want to make sure you're aware of that. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into it, and I'll go bring Iva on. Iva, welcome back to the podcast, and thank you for joining me here today to continue sharing your journey with us.
Hi, Melissa. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, so I'm excited to have you back on, and it's been just about 2 years since you were first on here. That episode was on December 28, 2015, as I was mentioning to you before we started recording. So I'm excited to hear about what's been new for you since then, and I know when I reached out to you to invite you back on, you said that you had just been thinking about me, so I'm glad that we're reconnecting, and I'm sure that the audience is excited to hear from you again as well.
Thanks so much. You know, it's funny when you said it's been 2 years, I'm like, it just seems like yesterday we were just talking. I feel like we've just done this.
I know, it goes by so fast.
Doesn't it? You're like, yeah, that was 2 years ago. And I was like, and you know what? 2 years ago, I literally had just moved down here. I had only been here because I'm in Guatemala. I had only been here. I moved in here down here in October. So I think I'd only been here for like 2 or 3 months. Wow, that's crazy.
I know. Yeah, just like, I've been doing the show for 3 years. Like, how did that happen?
That's awesome.
So, Iva, start us out by telling us what it is you do today and what you're currently working on.
So when I first got down to Guatemala, my main mission, my main goal coming down here, well, 2 goals. A was to escape Northern Ontario winters. And I had actually only planned on being here for the winter. I was heading back home in June of 2016, back to Canada, but I haven't left. I stayed here. This is now my home. I fell in love with Guatemala and the people of Guatemala, and I did come down here to help out with the poverty, help stop malnutrition, and to help some of the poor people and some of the families down here. And
yeah, I know you were talking about that last time.
Yeah, and I've literally just fallen in love with every single thing about this place, and this is home now. I'm settled here now, and this is home. And I'm also now almost pretty fluent in Spanish. It
Oh,
took
nice.
almost 2 years. Yeah, but I think I can finally communicate with the people, which really helps a lot. Because when I first got down here, I could barely say 5 words in Spanish. So, yeah,
Has
a
it
lot.
has it just been from speaking with the people that you've been able to learn it?
Speaking with the people, off and on Spanish lessons. I mean, I take lessons when I have time, and I'm
Okay.
so busy. Sometimes I don't have time. And I have a little app on my iPad, Duolingo, so that helps me a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, so I can now kind of converse with the people. I never made it back home. This is home, and now I'm actually seeing and realizing how great the need is for help, for aid, to help with with a lot of the families down here, the children that have malnutrition and all that stuff. The need is so great. I can't even imagine going back to Canada at this point. That
Hmm.
doesn't even ever cross my mind anymore.
Yeah. And hey, at least you don't have to worry about the winters there, right?
Ever, I know.
I'm sure you don't miss that.
Not at all.
Yeah. No, it's like my husband and I moved out to California 2 years ago from the Northeast, and I certainly do not miss the weather.
That's right. I remember that you had just moved, as a matter of fact, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we
And
had.
how's it going? Do you love it out there?
Yeah, it's been great.
Good
Been
stuff.
great. Yeah. So, yeah, so tell us, so what is it you're working on right now?
So I've been working on when I came down here, I was a freelancer, and I have three clients that I work for, doing social media managing. And it's at the beginning, it was taking up a lot of my time. So I've sort of branched off a little bit onto my own to work on my own business a lot more so that I could have a lot more passive income, so to speak, so that I can let go of clients as my income from my own business increases. And with that, also that I can spend more time out with the families and the communities and learning Spanish and doing that kind of stuff. I think my goal for 2018, and I don't know if it's a pipe dream or a goal just yet. I'd really love to have my own little community center down here, just more like a drop-in center for some of the kids, teenagers, some of the single moms, just things like that where they can come, a safe place for them to hang out. And maybe have some volunteer English teachers and things like that. I haven't really quite worked out the logistics. I just have this vision that I think I want to have a little bit of a bigger impact down here. So I'm working on my business so that my business can run itself. I can be free of clients and from working as a social media manager and just be running on my own, and spending more time in the community. That's my goal right now. So I've been working really hard on that. Um,
That's great.
yeah,
It sounds
yeah.
like, I mean, it sounds like you've been a big part of or you've definitely been involved in the community since you've been down there, but I guess it sounds like you want to have an even bigger role in it now.
Yeah, mostly on a smaller scale. There's one major NGO, a nonprofit organization. Sorry, so many people, when I say NGO, they're like, what's an NGO? I'm like, oh, sorry. So many nonprofit organizations here, but there's one major one that I have been working with closely. Um, and she'll send me a message or she'll call me if there's a family in crisis, and I'll go down and I'll meet with the family. A lot of them, just need water filters. Some of them need their rent paid so they don't get evicted. Some of them need corn so that they can make tortillas. I mean, there's different things that so many need. So she'll call me when there's an emergency or in a crisis, and I'll go down and I'll help on that kind of scale. So that's what I'm doing right now. And also helping on my own, just when I go out, there's a couple of families in the old neighborhood that I used to live in. I'll go visit them about twice a week and take them to the market and take them grocery shopping. So I do that, which I find is a little bit of a smaller scale, which is still good, obviously. But I just know that I can make a bigger impact and get more people involved, to help. And, mostly to give, like, the children down here don't really have encouragement or support or any kind of hope for a better future. And I think I really just want to try to get that, give them they don't have to, sell tortillas on the street at 6 years old. I want them to go to school. I want them to think that college could be in their future. So yeah, lots of things that I've kind of got on my plate and on my mind. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah,
Um,
thanks.
yeah, and tell us like what's been going on with your Amazing Me movement.
I just crossed over 500,000 fans on that page.
I saw
Uh,
that. That's crazy.
yeah,
Oh, that's
I know, which
congratulations.
thank you, which is super cool. I'm pretty excited about that. And we just started a 21-day challenge this week, so I'm getting more people involved, and helping more people try to get unstuck from their poopy life, right? A lot of us get stuck in this um, sort of yucky place and we can't get out, and life sucks and everything sucks. And my husband is a jerk and my wife is a bitch and my job, everything. So we're working on that. And the 21-day challenge is to help people to get out of that, just try to find more peace, more forgiveness, more, inner happiness and joy. Um, and then I'm also working behind the scenes. In January, I'm going to be opening up an Amazing Me Academy, which I'm super excited about. So what that is going to be is it's just going to be a little academy where you can go in. It'll be linked up right off my website. You can go in and just purchase little courses as you need them. They're just going to be little courses. If you need a course, a little bit of guidance on helping to flick fear, or if you need some guidance on goal setting. So there's probably going to be 15 to 20 little courses in there, and I'm working on that right now. Um, and also podcasting, which we talked about before. I'm actually going to be starting my own podcast in January.
Yay.
So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm just really excited about that. So yeah, so lots going on behind the scenes. The website got a new look again a couple of weeks ago. I refreshed the website. So that got a facelift and it's really pretty now. So yeah, just, crazy busy, Melissa. Really.
Sounds like it, but sounds like a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Can you tell us any more about your podcast? Like, what's it going to be called, or what's going to be the format of it?
So that's a really good question. It's, I want to keep in line with the Amazing Me movement, but I want to also keep in line with just being raw and real, like my lives are, because I'm very uncut. I'm very, no holds barred. I drop F-bombs. I keep it real. So it's going to be very much in your face, but in your face, inspiration, motivation, of that kind of stuff. Um, I ain't patting your back and licking your wound with you. It's going to be in your face and smacking you beside the head and say, hey, cut that out. It's not working. It's time to go. Like, stop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be very, yeah. I mean, not in a mean way, but, in a very
Tough
loving,
love.
right. That's it. Exactly. It's going to be very much tough love. It's going to be, hey, why do you keep doing that? You need to stop doing that. And also using my own real life experiences, because a little bit of my own life, with the physical abuse that I suffered as a child,
Mm-hmm.
and the emotional and verbal and mental abuse I suffered as an adult, and all that stuff. So it's going to be a lot of taking my own life experiences and helping others to get through whatever shit they happen to be going through at the time. So very raw, real, uncut, unedited, yeah, in your face, and yeah, that's what they're going to kind of be, like that. And I'm not sure what it's going to be called yet. I haven't really decided that.
All right.
So, yeah,
No, that's great. I wish you luck with it.
thank you.
Yeah, it can be, very rewarding to do a podcast.
Yeah, I bet. I'm excited. I'm actually excited about that. And I think maybe as once I start podcasting, because right now I do 3 lives a week over on my Facebook page, um, which is plenty, really. Sometimes I find it's a bit much. So I figure maybe if I even pump out 2 podcasts a week, one on my own and one with a special guest. I haven't really figured out a format yet, but I think the biggest thing for me at this stage of my business and of my life is that I just want to have a larger voice, so people that are stuck where they are, I just want them to know that they don't have to be stuck, like look, and I want them to kind of want to be able to say, hey, you know what? Like, look at me and look at the shit that I dealt with and look where I am today. And if I can do it, so can you. I think I really just want to get that message out that anybody can change their life. You just have to want to. So for me right now, my goal is to have a more platforms and a larger audience so I can reach more people with that message. I think that's really important to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a great message. And, it goes back to what you were talking about the first time you were on and how you moved from Canada to Guatemala and like you had no idea what that was going to look like for you. Like you just completely, you
I
know,
know.
changed everything,
I know.
and took that chance. But it's something that you did, and now here you are, and it's working out really well for you.
Yeah, it's all about facing fear. And that's kind of funny because I did take a chance. I had no clue what to expect. And I really was only going to be here for 5 to 6 months just to get out of Canada for the winter. And here I am, 2 years later, and I'm still here. But the biggest thing for people is everybody, we're all afraid to try something new or do something, or I don't know what's going to happen. Well, I didn't know what was going to happen. I totally sold my whole life 53 years of my life. I sold everything. I bought a one-way ticket and I came down to a country that I knew nothing about. But sometimes you got to take big chances like that. I mean, look where I am now. I'm still here and I am totally in love with this place and my life. And I would never experience this if I hadn't faced fear. So, I think people really need to face some of their fears and look fear in the eye and say, hey, you know what, I got this. You need to step back and let me do this. And too many of us just don't want to do that. We're afraid and we back away and you can't back away from life. There's got to come a time where you have to stand up and face life and say, hey, I got this. I'm going to do this because you don't know what's on the other side. And there is no good or bad. It's all lessons. I mean, I could have came down here and it could have been a shit show, right? I would have
Could have,
learned
yeah.
I would have learned my lesson and I would have went back home to Canada. It's
Mm.
not a big deal. Who cares? But you got to take the chance.
It's
And
about
and I
taking the chance. Mm-hmm.
yeah, you've got to take chances. You've got to face fear and you got to take risks and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to try this today and I'm going to see what's going to happen and I'll roll with it and I'll roll with whatever happens. So
Yeah, and know that if it doesn't work out, if it ends up being a bad decision, then you'll figure out how to, go from there.
absolutely. It's all about experiences, Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't ever try anything, and if you don't ever face fears, and if you don't ever risk or take any challenges, you're never going to know if it was a good or a bad decision, if it works or if it doesn't work. You're just going to flatline. And I tell people, you're just flatlining. You're all just here flatlining, and nobody's busting out of their comfort zone. And I joke about it. I said, you got lots of time when you're dead to flatline. Don't do that now. Like now's the time to live um, and embrace life and change. And my life in the last 2 years, it blows my mind almost. You know what, Melissa? About once a week, I look outside and I go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I live here. I can't believe I live here." Still to this day, I still do that, and it's 2 years later, and I still go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I live here." Like my life is crazy beautiful compared to the shit that I was living 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago in Northern Ontario, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know?
and all because, you made the choice to do it. You took that chance.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard. I mean, I've been, you know, dealing with some fear myself lately, because actually I recently joined this coaching academy, and so I'm getting certified to do coaching.
Nice.
And it's exciting. Like, I know that that's what's next for me, but it's getting me to do things that are outside of my comfort zone, and it feels scary at times. But
Yeah.
I'm recognizing that, the fear is there. It comes up for us because I think it's trying to protect us.
Of course.
Especially if we've been through stuff in our past and we're feeling triggered, it's trying to protect us from getting hurt again. Um, but like they say, everything that we want is on the other side of fear, right? I mean, I really believe that.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
just, you
Everything.
gotta, you gotta push through it if you want what's on the other side of it, you know?
Absolutely. Fear is just, I mean, obviously fear is lies. And when fear comes up, It's because we've been living in a comfort zone for so long, and we're happy and we're cozy and we're comfortable, and then we have this thought, and then fear goes, "Oh my God, stop! What are you doing? Don't think about that. That's crazy." And we're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're right. That's crazy. Okay, we'll stop thinking about that." Well, it's not crazy, and who cares if it's crazy? Think about it and dream it and act on it. I mean, yeah. I could talk about fear till the cows come home. Honest to God, because
Yeah.
yeah, I love talking about, fears and facing them and challenging. And yeah, you're right, Melissa. Your life is on the other side of all of that. All of that.
Yeah, and I think it just comes down to, choosing between living, that life of comfort that feels safe, but maybe we know we're not really
Hmm.
living our full potential, or, you know, embracing that fear and facing it, and then, being able to get to the other side and experience, more fulfillment as a result.
Absolutely. Yeah, you nailed it when you said living our full potential. You're absolutely right. That's the perfect way to say it, because when you don't face your fear, you are not living up to your full potential, and you are stagnating. You're just existing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. So lots of good stuff to say there about fear, like you're saying, and I feel like, yeah, it's something I could talk about for a while too.
Well,
But
it must have been scary for you to move from the north over to California.
a little bit, it wasn't like terribly scary. I was ready. I was excited for it. But yeah, I mean, it's something new. It's something different. So
For
there's
sure.
always there's always that fear.
For sure. It's that level of unknown. Everybody wants answers to all the questions right now. And when we don't have answers, we scratch our head and we go, okay, well, there's no answers, so never mind, because I need an answer, and I need to see, that sort of assurance, that they need to know that assurance that it's going to be okay. We're not always going to get that. Even if you plan stuff, you're never going to have that 100% assurance that everything is going to be okay. And people want that. So when you take a chance to try something, you have a question in your mind, but you don't know the answer. Well, then you just take back the question and go, fuck it, I'm not going to do this, because this is I can't do this.
No, it's so
We
true. It's so true. We want to know, like, before we take that big step, we want to know how it's going to turn out. You
Yeah,
know,
and you don't always have to know. It's okay. Let it be a surprise. Let life surprise you sometimes, really.
yeah, just like, you're still in Guatemala and you weren't planning for that,
You
or
know,
you weren't expecting that.
that was a big surprise.
um, yeah, and I think, what else happens too is, like, even if we're in a situation right now where we know maybe, we're not living up to our full potential, or we're not really as happy as we could be, we still can tend to stay in it because it's what's familiar to us. Taking that chance is unfamiliar. And if we, don't have that assurance that it's going to work out, then it's easier for us to just stay where we're at,
Yeah,
and
because we're okay. So people think, you know what? Nothing is too broken. I'm okay. I'm just going to stay here. Well, I'm not here to be okay. I'm here to be legendary. I'm here to be, to leave a legacy. I'm here to make a big impact on the world, because the world needs more healers, helpers, and lovers. I'm here for a greater purpose. So if you want to just stay okay, well, good luck with that, and let me know how that works out for you, because that's not what we're here for. We're not
mm-hmm.
here for mediocre, Melissa. We are here for greatness. And I'm not subscribing to mediocre. I lived mediocre for 52 years, and I am not doing that again. I'm not. That's boring, and that's not what I'm here for. That's not what any of us are here for. So if their life isn't too broken, if it's okay, they're like, all right, I'll stay here. It's okay. I'm just going to stay here. All right, well, you stay there then. Have fun with that. Because that's yeah, I can't do okay.
mm-hmm.
Not anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the good news, I think, is that, we all get to choose what we get to do. So we got to
Exactly.
figure out what's best for us, and go for it, and know that if you want to push yourself, if you want to, face that fear, then that's okay. You
Yeah,
know, that's okay. And hopefully things will work out. And if not, then, you'll find a way to make them work.
absolutely.
Awesome. So Eva, anything else you want to mention about what's been new for you, or any future plans that you have?
I think I covered everything. Lots on my plate. Um, yeah, I think I. I think we covered just about everything. Website got a facelift. We got an academy coming up, podcasts. Uh, yeah, yeah, that I think I covered just about everything.
All right,
You know,
awesome.
and I think, when we were talking about, and I don't know if my father had died when I spoke to you, if he had already died.
Yeah, I believe you did. And you were
Oh,
talking about how you spent time with him there at the end.
oh yeah, in that year that he died. And because we were talking about that, and I still deal a lot with people, because I'm blogging a lot about forgiveness and the trauma and triggers and stuff from the past. Um, and I think that the biggest message, if we have to end this, and I want to just sort of go back to our talk 2 years ago, that kind of ties in with the message that I try to share on my blogs, on my website, and on my lives, is that if you're still stuck in that I can't forgive mode, or I can't, well, we never forget the trauma, but you eventually, you don't think about it as often. I have gone through so much. Even still to this day, I go through a lot of self-healing, self-discovery. I mean, I have a whole new life down here, 2 years, and I've had to totally reinvent myself in my life. Um, but you can't. You really can't give up on forgiveness. And so many people are like, oh, I can't forgive. And I just really, really wish that people can take the time to really sit down and think about forgiving, because I've never felt such freedom and such inner peace and such happiness in my whole entire life as I do now. And that didn't come with just moving down to Guatemala and escaping winter. That also, had something to do with total forgiveness and release of trauma, and hate and anger and all that stuff. So, as part and parcel of the message of the Amazing Me movement is, you know, sometimes you just got to let it go and forgive and just be done with it and release. And once you release, the weight that comes off your shoulders is mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
I just sort of wanted to end with that, because I didn't want to take away from the podcast that we did 2 years ago, if anybody remembers, or if they listen to it again,
mm-hmm.
that forgiveness is key to any inner peace or happiness that you are seeking. And I have complete, 100% forgiveness at this point now, 100% forgiveness and complete inner peace and happiness because of that. So,
Yeah, I know you were talking a lot about that last time too, and how much that's helped you, and how you've been able to let go of what you went through. But I know that's something that's really, can be really difficult for people.
I know it is very difficult, and I actually still have family members that still deal with that have a hard time forgiving, and many people do it, and I hear the same thing. Even, I mean, the Amazing Me movement is my number one message. If I have to, is if you're ever going to get any peace or happiness or inner joy or anything until you forgive all the jerks that hurt you in the past. That's one of my biggest and main messages with the Amazing Me movement. And I get so many people say, this person did this and this and this, and I can't forgive them. Well, there's going to come a day where you have to, because you're still carrying that on your shoulders. And you don't forgive them for them. You forgive them for yourself. It's got nothing to do with them. Forgiveness has nothing to do with your abuser. It has everything to do with your inner peace. They don't even have to that you've forgiven them. They don't even have to have any clue. It doesn't matter. You do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, I think if anyone wants to kind of hear more about that and hear about, how you were able to kind of let go and what helped you, I definitely would check out, your first episode. You talked about that there, and the things that helped you. So I would direct people to definitely go check that out. Um, and
There's lots of blogs actually on my website about it too. I write a lot about that, forgiveness and trauma and triggers and healing from the past. I have a lot of blogs about that as well. So,
all right,
yeah.
great.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
great. Yeah, I mean, do you feel like your past, or, anything that you went through, shows up for you at all today in any negative way?
You know what? That's a funny question, because I really was just thinking about this the other day. Um, I was scheduling some because I schedule pages on Facebook and I have to go through posters and find the best posters and stuff like that. And one of the pages had a poster about, be thankful for your mom or be thankful for your dad. And I'm like, I'm not.
Mm.
Like, I don't even miss them. Like, I don't ever think about my parents because they're really kind of nothing. Like, they're not that they're nothing to me, but they're kind of nothing to me, if that makes any sense. Like, yeah, like, when you see those posters and like, oh, make sure you love your dad because he's the only one you have. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. That's okay. I'm good. Thanks.
Not
We don't
everybody feels that way.
Not everybody feels that way. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, and I was just kind of, washing up the dinner dishes. I was like, wow, I don't ever really think about my parents ever. And my mom's still alive. I mean, she's a vegetable in a nursing home waiting to die because she's in her final stages of Alzheimer's.
Mm.
And I mean, I just hope she dies soon, not be for any, ill reason, but she's just a vegetable. There's no quality of life. So I really do
Yeah.
wish that God would hurry up and take her. But I mean, she's nothing to me now. She died a long time ago, as far as, in my mind. And
Mm.
my dad, well, I mean, he is physically dead, but yeah, I don't think about them. Who
Mhm.
sometimes creeps up in my mind. I'm like, eep, and then I just push that down. But yeah, I don't really, I'm just too freaking happy right now to think about, the people that really hurt me and stuff. Yeah, I'm just too happy.
Well, that's great. I'm glad for you, and I'm glad that you're doing well.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So I want to ask you the final question that I have for you, and this is the same final question that I asked you 2 years ago,
Okay.
and that is, given what you know now, if you could go back to when you were going through your tough times and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh, and I remember what my answer was. I think
Do
I
you?
said I was going to try to be a good girl. I think that's what my answer was.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And what's funny now, Melissa, because I think back now, and I don't think I would have changed a thing. I don't think there was anything that I would have changed or did different or anything like that, because everything that I went through, everything that I did, even the bad things that I did, um, it all just sort of lined me up and set me up for the person that I am today. And all the crazy experiences, traumatic or otherwise, all the experiences that I went through, that I've healed from, helped me to be the person that I am today, and helped me to be the person who can help other people as well. So yeah, I wouldn't have changed anything, and I can't say anything to that person. I'm kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah. And I mean, I'm glad that you're able to be the person that you are today and doing the work that you're doing, helping others. And speaking of that, how can we kind of help support you and what you have going on right now?
Actually, if you want to head on over to my Facebook page and hang out there, and I do lives. The lives are fun. We're right in the middle. Oh, by the time this airs, my challenge will be done. Um,
Yeah.
that's right, but that's okay. You can come on over there. On my website, I also have a donate page where you can donate. 100% of all the donations goes right to the families here. I don't touch any of it. I buy water filters, stoves, food, pay rent, all kinds of stuff. I do all kinds of stuff. And a lot of it comes from my own money. But when people make donations, I will use the money. I'll take that money and buy food and stuff. And then I'll take pictures and send pictures and that kind of stuff. So if they want to donate and help the people in Guatemala, that's great. They can do that over on the website. There's a donate button, or they can also, read the blogs, share my message. That also helps spread my message as well, and helps other people around the world, to get that message out, and maybe help other people who are hurting or angry or stuff. So mostly, yeah, just, go over there, like, share, love, and all that stuff.
Okay, sounds good. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'll have the Facebook page linked up in your website. Any other ways that people can connect with you or find out about everything you have going on?
I think that's about it right now until I start my podcasting, but then I'll announce that on my Facebook page and on my website, probably about the podcasting, but that's not until January.
Mm-hmm.
And also the Amazing Me Academy will probably be opening up in January as well. And I'm really excited about that because that's just going to have a bunch of really cool, fun little courses that people can pick and choose and take that, to help them with whatever trials they're going through at the time. So I'm excited about that.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, Eva, I just want to thank you for coming on today and, for catching us up on everything that you've had going on since you were last on 2 years ago. Definitely a lot of exciting stuff there, and hopefully people enjoyed getting to hear from you again and the things that we talked about here today. So yeah, thank you again.
Thank you so much, Melissa. It was always a pleasure to talk to you.
All right. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks for listening to the show today. This has been the Grass Gets Greener podcast, episode 122. Go to thegrassgetsgreener.com/Iva Ursano and then number 2 to find the links mentioned during this episode or to leave a comment. So I hope you enjoyed getting to catch up with Eva and to hear about all she is doing. If you like what Eva's doing and the message that she is spreading, then be sure to show her some support. Check out her website, amazingmemovement.com, or like her Facebook page, and just thank her for coming back on the show. So this is the last episode of 2017. The first episode of 2018 is going to be on January 8th, so be sure to come back for that one. That will be with an all-new guest. In the meantime, you can head over to the website to grab your free copy of the Top 10 Strategies Guide for Survivors if you haven't yet. In it, you'll find the top 10 most common strategies my podcast guests have used for overcoming the effects of past trauma. It's a great place to get started if you're looking for some strategies that can help you in your healing as they have helped my guests. And you can find that at thegrassgetsgreener.com/guide or also on the show notes page. And if you want to show the podcast a little love here at the end of the year, don't forget to head over to iTunes or Stitcher to leave the show a rating and review so that we can reach as many survivors as possible. I wish you all happy holidays, and as always, have hope.